Hi, everybody, and good evening. Good Thursday evening to you. Thanks for being here on a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Started off on a bit of a rainy note, nothing too heavy for us, just some scattered light showers and then some sun and some clouds, and we've got some more of that in store for tomorrow, a mostly sunny Friday ahead, around 83, 84 degrees. Yeah, I know, just in time for the weekend. The chance of showers makes its way back into the forecast, but it's not all bad, and I'll give you the good and the bad in just a few moments. I'll also give you all the news tonight and an effort to make it. Andrew's got a ball game tonight. Those are winding down. We've also got another couple of places to try to be all at once, so we're going to get out of here as quickly as possible. I say that, and more than likely this show is going to be a complete half hour with what we have to discuss. The attorney who represents the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center Jail Authority Board argued before the Kentucky Supreme Court last week. The verdict of this case could set a precedent for many counties and many jails, and it could also mean some windfall for the jail, which is struggling, to put it mildly, to stay afloat and make repairs and the other things that we've covered since we've been covering the meetings on a monthly basis over the past few years. A traffic stop leads to meth arrest. Just another fact that drives home, or another incident that drives home the fact that meth is just a big problem, and it's getting worse, and it could be surpassing prescription drugs. That's just a personal observation and statement, but this kind of makes that point, as does the news on a daily basis. And 4 months into the year 2017, an official highway safety fatality count. We'll talk about that and look at years past real quickly and a few other things before I leave you for what I hope will be a beautiful Thursday evening for us all. Well, we'll go ahead and begin with the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center Jail Authority Board, which did meet in regular session night before last. And tonight we'll focus on one point of that, or one part of that meeting, and that was remarks by Board Attorney Nelson Sparks, who updated the board on his arguments before the Kentucky Supreme Court last week. The outcome of this case could set, as I said, a precedent for many counties and jails across Kentucky, and it could mean a windfall for the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center. At issue is one Kentucky law, one statute, and how it's interpreted. And it's being interpreted a couple of different ways. One way by the Jail Authority Board, one way by counties, for example, specifically Fayette County in this particular instance. The jail itself has contracts with many counties, the four participating counties, if you will, McGoffin, Johnson, Martin, and Lawrence, and other counties as well. It also has a contract with the state, agreements already put in place, charging those entities $25 to $32, depending on which entity it is and the other details, but that much per day per inmate. But it doesn't have contracts with every county or all counties, like Fayette, for example. But with counties like Fayette County, for example, the Big Sandy Jail Board believes that a county that issues an arrest warrant should be the person or entity responsible for housing an inmate. Fayette County, which the Big Sandy Jail Board says owes them about $13,000 to date, Fayette County argues that the county where the arrest took place is responsible for paying of the housing of an inmate. For example, if a person is wanted on an arrest warrant out of Fayette County and they're picked up in Johnson County and kept there for 10 to 14 days or whatever until being taken back to the Fayette County court, Fayette County says they're not responsible for the housing, even though it's their inmate, while the Johnson County Jail Board says that indeed Fayette County is the reason that person is in their jail. That's where they have to be housed until they can come and get them, and they should be due money from the Fayette County government. With that and the other issue of sovereign immunity being brought before the Kentucky Supreme Court last week. After the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center's case was heard in Fayette County, they appealed to the Kentucky Court of Appeals, which deferred. And then they requested for discretionary review before the Kentucky Supreme Court, which granted that review, with Board Attorney Nelson Sparks arguing before the Kentucky Supreme Court last week, for which he gave an update to the Board Authority during their regular meeting on Tuesday night.
And so I was doing the oral argument, and the first question I got, one of the justices said, he said, well, under KRS 441 and something, he said, I thought the state was supposed to pay for that. And I said, well, are you talking about the state prisoner we have? I said, we have an agreement with the state for that. And he said, no, he said, this is a violation of state law. I thought the state had to pay for a violation of state law. And I thought, Lord have mercy. And then the Chief Justice said, well, why don't you just send the bill on this to the state? And I said, well, my understanding of the law is, and there's case law that says, once a prisoner is convicted and sentenced on a felony, then the burden for payment shifts to the state, but not before that. And there were two female judges. One of them was from Louisville, and she popped up, and I think she may have been a little embarrassed, but I don't know. She said, well, I think he's right. She said, it's been a while since I was a circuit judge, but she said, I don't think the state pays anything until the prisoner's sentenced, and at that point, the state takes it over. So, anyway, based on that, I can't imagine, surely to God, that they're going to say, but we have to house Fayette County prisoners for nothing. But after some of the questions I got down there, I don't know. But that really surprised me. I guess there's three possibilities. One, the only one that makes sense to me is the state has to pay. I'm sorry. One of them is that Fayette County has to pay us, and if we get a decision on that, then that would make all these other counties. Another possibility that Fayette County is saying the county where the arrest took place has to pay it, and that would come back to the local counties. And the other possibility is they would say we have to hold them for free. Now I said during oral argument, I said there's no law that says we have to hold prisoners from some county that doesn't want to pay us for doing it. And I said some time ago, if push comes to shove, we should consider not taking prisoners from a county that doesn't want to enter into a contract to pay us. A couple of the judges said they thought this was a matter that should be taken up with the legislature, and that the statute that deals with this is terribly written. But one of the Chief Justice, among others, he wasn't the only one that said, well, we think this ought to go to the legislature and let them sort all this out.
Sparks also said that whether or not the court chooses either of those options or possibly something else, it is expected that they may take 4 to 6 months to render a decision or a ruling, during which time counties will continue to pick up the cost or the jail, I'm not quite for certain, for those inmates that would fall under this particular category. We'll keep you up to date and have a word on the ruling as soon as there is one. I'll be right back. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. In neighboring Johnson County, a traffic stop leads to a drug seizure and a meth arrest. A man and a woman both taken into custody after the driver or operator of a motorcycle swerved and tried to avoid a traffic safety checkpoint to no avail. Early yesterday evening, about 4:30, Johnson County Sheriff's deputies Byron Fairchild and Lauren O'Brien were conducting an advertised traffic safety checkpoint. They were located near the mouth of Route 201 when they observed a motorcycle which swerved in what they believed was an apparent attempt to avoid the police officers. Now, the operator of that motorcycle pulled into the driveway of a home and then acted like he knew who lived there, but he finally admitted after a little prodding from police that he had no idea who actually lived or owned the property, and that he just turned in rather quickly and abruptly to try to evade police at the checkpoint. The deputies identified him as Gordon Dean Stapleton, 62, of Sitka, who appeared to be under the influence of some sort of an intoxicant, and additionally he was driving on a DUI suspended driver's license, and the 2008 Harley-Davidson he was operating had no tags and no insurance. The passenger, 35-year-old Alicia Cox of Sitka, had an active arrest warrant. She was found to be in possession of methamphetamine, marijuana, and drug paraphernalia, and both were jailed and taken into custody. Gordon Stapleton was charged with DUI in the third offense, possession of meth, DUI driving on a DUI suspended license, no registration, no receipt, no insurance card, no insurance, no motorcycle license, and a few other traffic infractions. Cox was charged with possession of methamphetamine, possession of marijuana, and possession of paraphernalia. She was also served with a warrant for public intoxication before being, as was Mr. Stapleton, taken to the Big Sandy Jail. The Johnson County Sheriff's Department encourages everyone that if you have any information about any illegal activity, drugs or otherwise, please contact their office at 789-3411, and as always, you can and will remain anonymous. Now, let's see what's coming up on tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau community calendar. How about a car and motorcycle show? They strike your fancy. It's going to be at the McGoffin County Health Department this Saturday from 10 in the morning till 2 that afternoon. Just $15 to register per car and $10 per motorcycle. And they have food, a raffle, split the pot, and most importantly, all proceeds going to support the Children's Miracle Network. It's hosted by Rite Aid, and it's going to be at the McGoffin County Health Department, and it's going to be this Saturday, 10 till 2. They hope that you'll cruise on in, on whatever you're riding or driving, and support the Children's Miracle Network. And this is your invitation again to join them as Spring Revival starts tomorrow evening at 7 at the Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church. They're going to be preaching the cross and Christ crucified. Tomorrow night at 7, Saturday at 6, Sunday at 10 and 11. Please join them. Evangelism, Spring Revival at Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church. And you've got till the 19th, kids, to get those, if you're an elementary student in McGoffin County, to get those designs in that might win and be the one put on a McGoffin County Farmers Market Association t-shirt. And the winner also gets $25. 349-3216, the number to call if you need more information. And the number you can call to get your announcements, anniversaries, and birthdays, too, on the program, 349-3699. If you want to fax it on down, 3221. You can drop it in the mail, send it email, via Facebook, however you want to send it. Just tell me and we'll tell everyone else about it for free. Turning to obituaries, a service provided by the McGoffin County Funeral Home. 83-year-old Kenneth Newsom of Punchin Creek passed away on Tuesday of this week at his home. Arrangements are still incomplete, as they were incomplete yesterday. I believe they still are at this hour. We're still waiting further word from the Sagersville Funeral Home as soon as they are arranged by members of Mr. Newsom's family. So for now, still incomplete for 83-year-old Kenneth Newsom of Punchin. Well, as of Monday of this week, we'll officially put the fourth month of 2017 behind us, and we'll go on to May. And just now, as we are wrapping up April, or about to, we now have the official fatality count just released by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety for the year of 2016. Even before the end of the year, we knew that it was going to be a more fatal, a more deadly and tragic year on Kentucky's roads than the year before. There were 834 lives lost last year, 73 more from 2015 on Kentucky's roads. An executive director of the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety says they are indeed greatly concerned with the number of people who lost their lives on our roadways, that those figures are simply unacceptable to them, and that they should be unacceptable to every driver, every person in our state. Of the 834 deaths last year, 50.9% were not wearing their seatbelt. Over half were not buckled up, and 16.8% involved alcohol, and more than 36% involved speeding or aggressive drivers, and 23% involved driver distraction. That number could be low. And motorcyclists accounted for 90 of those deaths, at least one in McGoffin County last year, 60% of those not wearing helmets. The highway fatality increase is not an issue solely for Kentucky either. According to the National Safety Council, preliminary data indicates that motor vehicle deaths totaled 40,200 last year. That's up 6% from 2015, and the first time that fatalities have exceeded 40,000 since 2007. And now, with absolutely nothing on local Doppler radar and the sun making a return with some partly cloudy skies out there and a temperature, I made it back up to 80 degrees by the end of the afternoon, I'll leave you with your National Weather Service and Licking Valley RECC outlook as I'm out the door, at least to Andrews ball game and hopefully to a couple of other stories. And I have a great story or two for tomorrow as well. I'll tell you more about that in a second, maybe a little more. As for tonight, I think we'll fall back down to around 49. We also have high pressure ruling tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Southwest winds 5 to 18 at times too. But for tomorrow, high pressure will give us a boost and clear, mostly sunny skies. 83 degrees for your Friday. Really nice way to end the work week tomorrow. We do have a 20% chance of some showers late tomorrow night, but that's mainly after 11 o'clock or so during the overnight. And I think for the most part, any chance of showers that we do have tomorrow night will be out of here by early Saturday. So mostly sunny on your Friday, 83. Look at Saturday's temps, 88 degrees, partly sunny. There is, I didn't even put it on screen, but a 20% chance of showers on your Saturday, but that's before 8 or 9 in the a.m. So we'll call it just partly sunny and in the upper 80s with a southwest wind around 6 to 10 for the first half of your weekend. For the second half, well, a little more of the same. We'll start off dry, mostly sunny, mid to upper 80s by Sunday night. And I'm technically talking about 3 or 4 or 5 in the a.m. Monday morning. So an all dry day Sunday, I think, as well, for daylight hours and late night hours. 86, 64, mostly sunny. Now, Monday, those showers do roll in during the overnight, and we have showers and thunderstorms likely, but they should be, for the most part, out of here by 2 or so. But that front will knock temperatures down a notch or two. So early to early afternoon showers on Monday, 74 for your high. Tuesday, mostly sunny, but temperatures are going to stay on the coolish side comparatively at 70 for daytime highs. Wednesday of next week, we're going to hold tight to 70 again. Yeah, some a little bit more comfortable air, and I think even by Thursday of next week, around 65. So the 70s, upper 60s for much of next week. Well, that's going to wrap it up for tonight's program. I've got some good news, some special news to share with you on tomorrow for an event that I will be covering, and maybe even a few of those good news stories to share when I see you back here next time, wrapping up this week tomorrow night of Your News Today. Thanks for watching.